I've just finished a marathon build and I thought I'd go through my shoe rotation with you in the hopes that you find it helpful. Now, one thing I will say is that you do not need lots of shoes. I've gone through quite a few for a couple of reasons. I was doing some reasonably high mileage, and also I get almost all of my shoes secondhand on Facebook Marketplace. So I would never have all of these shoes if I didn't get them secondhand. So don't watch this and think that you need to go out and buy a whole bunch of shoes. 2 or 3 shoes will be absolutely fine. You can even do it on 1. Starting with the daily trainers, these are the shoes that I use for my easy recovery runs and everything just a bit slower. So I started off with the On Cloudmonsters. Now these aren't version 2, this is the first version that I got. Really like this shoe. Really like this shoe. It's very versatile, very comfortable, which is what you want for an easy run shoe. But it really picks up the pace well. So the shoe works really well for tempo runs. It works reasonably well for kind of faster intervals. So it's just a very versatile shoe. It is a plated shoe, but it's a nylon plate. So it's not a full-on carbon racer. So it is plated, which I guess helps with its versatility. But yeah, I really liked this shoe. What I don't like about it is probably only durability. So I only got, I think, just over 500 Ks on this shoe. Now, a lot of that is probably down to my poor running mechanics. So, and it's improved a lot. But if you look here, you can see hopefully you can see what's going on there. So I'm a heel striker and strike on that side. They're pretty knackered. So I took these well beyond what I should have, I think. And so this was after just over 500 Ks. So I would give this shoe overall an 8 out of 10, taking off 2 marks, probably just for durability. And I think they're probably a little bit overpriced as well. If they were a bit cheaper and they lasted more, I would give them a higher mark because I actually really liked these shoes. So I replaced the Cloudmonsters with the Asics Gel Nimbus 26. So this is the latest version of the Gel Nimbus. And I really like this shoe. I really like this shoe. It feels like a hug every time you put it on. It is so plush and it's so comfortable, which is exactly what I was looking for. I wanted a shoe that just really looked after me on my recovery runs and kind of like, it's okay, James, everything's going to be fine. That's this shoe. Really comfortable to run in, and it does what it's designed to do well, which is easy, slow runs. It feels gross when you try and pick up the pace. It's heavy, it's clunky, it just feels big and kind of yuck when you try and go fast in it. But I don't care. That's not why I bought this shoe. So I'm going to give this shoe a 9.5 out of 10 because it does exactly what I wanted it to do, for what it's designed to do. The durability is really good. I've done a fair few Ks in this and it's holding up pretty well. We're getting towards the end. Don't know if you can see. Again, this is where I strike. But it's a lot better than the On Cloudmonster that I showed you before. And the rest of it's fine. I mean, that showing you this probably doesn't help too much because it depends on how your foot strikes the pavement. But durability has been good in this. The price is good. Again, I don't know why, because they were the latest model, but I got them pretty heavily reduced. So I did buy these ones brand new. But yeah, 9.5 out of 10 for these ones. Really, really great easy run and recovery shoe. So next up is what I would call a tempo shoe. And this is the Puma Nitro Deviate. So not the version 2, the first version. What a shoe this is. Again, I kind of judge a shoe on what it's designed to do, what I buy it for, and this did exactly what I bought it for. It is such a versatile shoe. So my use for this one, just trying to think back actually, because sadly it's been a while since I wore this one out, but I used it for a lot of long runs. I used it for some tempo sessions and it works so well. It's really comfortable. It's got lots of cushioning, but it's really good at picking the pace up. Again, this is a plated shoe, but it's a nylon plate. It's not a carbon fiber plate. Just really versatile, very comfortable. Highly recommend this shoe. Durability is excellent. The outsole on this thing, I wish all shoes did outsoles like this. It's really good. Outstanding grip and durability. I mean, you can see it's knackered now. Again, this is where I strike. So it's definitely, so I've retired these shoes now, which is sad because I really like them. And I do look on Marketplace pretty much every day trying to find a pair that pops up. Highly recommend this shoe. If I could only own one pair of shoes, this would be it. Such a versatile shoe, 9.5 out of 10. Moving into the race shoes now. So first up we have the Adidas Adizero Pro 3s. I think, yes, the Pro 3s. So I got these second hand. They had, I think, about 50 Ks on them when I bought them, so they were pretty new. I bought them with a couple of ideas in mind. I thought perhaps it would be a race day shoe option. And also I thought if it's not a race day option, then it'll be a great long run pace session shoe. So the way I have been using it has been for long runs and my threshold sessions. Yeah, so mixed thoughts about this shoe. I really wanted to like, I love the look of it. I found the comfort really depends on, sounds stupid, it really depends on how you tie the laces. Like, it's really sensitive to the tension you put on the laces. So there's no padding at all on the tongue. And I just found it's really, my experience, my comfort level in it really depended how much or how tightly I did those laces up. You kind of just have to get them right, because too loose and it feels a bit unstable, too tight and it really starts to hurt on the top of the foot. So I learnt that before my long runs, I would often, 3 or 4 times retie these just to get that tension right. So durability on these ones has been good. The grip is really good. It's nice and durable. Again, you can see this is knackered. So I've retired these now. I've had a lot of runs out of these actually. So as I said, I use them for my threshold runs and the long runs. I didn't fall in love with this shoe. It feels like the foam doesn't really compress much for me. It just, when I run in it, it feels very stiff. I don't know if that's because of the carbon rods. So unlike a lot of shoes, this has got rods that go down rather than a plate. You can see some of them there. It felt very stiff. It felt like it didn't compress. And I actually found it really quite uncomfortable at the end of a lot of long runs. Like, my feet would actually hurt at the end, which isn't what you want. And added to that, it just wasn't a fast shoe for me. So I was no faster in this one than I was in some of my non-plated, I guess, daily trainers. Not the Gel Nimbus, definitely faster than that one, but anything's going to be faster than that shoe. But of my other normal shoes, this one wasn't really any faster or efficient. So it definitely isn't a race day shoe for me. Now, with all of these comments I'm making on these shoes, this is for me. Shoes are very personal and we all respond differently to them. But for me, this was not a fast shoe, definitely not an option for racing. And yeah, it's done its job well. I would be very upset if I paid full price for them. Fortunately, I got them for a bargain and I did keep using them. So I'm going to give them a 6 out of 10 just because they just didn't do what I bought them for and what they're designed to do. For me, other people love them. That's great. But for me, it just didn't work. So the next carbon plated racing shoe is the Saucony Endorphin Pro 2. So this is the Pro 2, so it's a few years old. I don't know when this came out. Again, I got this one secondhand on Marketplace. It was it was brand new when I bought it. The guy hadn't run in them. Yeah, love this shoe. Really like this shoe. It's lightweight. It's very fast for me. So out of all the shoes that I own, this is definitely the fastest shoe for me. And yeah, it has just done its job for me. I use it on all my faster intervals, so my fartlek sessions, 5K intervals, 5K. I do time trials in them often, just because they are the fastest shoe. So they're really good. Comfort's really good. Lockdown's really good. Fit's really good. Durability is good. So I haven't done huge mileage in them, but they seem to be wearing really well, and which is great to see, because it kind of, I don't know, it just looks like it's going to wear out quickly, but they've done really well, even with my weird heel striking. But I think because when I pick up, as everyone does, I land much more flat-footed. So these are holding up really well. One bad thing about these is that the grip, when it's wet, these are a bit dodgy. I wouldn't race in these if it was a wet day on a course with lots of turns or even training. They do become a bit dodgy in the wet for me. But yeah, for me, these shoes work really well, and I definitely keep an eye out for them, trying to get another pair. I'd love to try the Pro 4s, but it's probably going to be a while before they come up secondhand. So for this shoe, 9.5 out of 10. So next up, we have the Nike Alphafly 2s. These shoes are probably, not hate's the wrong word, but they're probably the least favorite of the Alphafly series as a whole, like people in general. But for me, these are my race day shoe for marathons. For whatever reason, they just seem to work really well for me. So I really like these shoes, even though they're heavy, they feel a bit clunky and clumsy. They just work. They're quite fast for me, but more than being fast, they're very efficient. So I feel like I don't have to work as hard in these. And in fact, it goes beyond me just feeling like I don't have to work hard in these. I actually don't. So I've done lots of testing in them, and my heart rate is always lower holding similar power in these. So they really help efficiency with me. And I love how bouncy they feel. And so they're really comfortable. They're really bouncy, which I really want in a race day shoe. I want to feel like when I put it on, I want to feel like I'm cheating. And I get that with these. If I go from, my warm-up shoes, as soon as I put these on, I know I'm wearing a super shoe, which is really cool. So yes, they're heavy. Yes, they're clunky, but I just like them. Durability, I don't know, it's probably fine. I've done 2 marathons in them. Again, I got these ones second hand. So I think the guy before me had done, I think he did a half Ironman in them. So they haven't had much mileage on them, but they're holding up fine. Yep, so until I find something better, these will continue to be my race day shoe. So for the Nike Alphafly 2s, I'm going to give them an 8 out of 10. So they lose marks because they're heavy. And also there's just a little bit of an issue with the arch support. So it's not very bad for me, but yeah, the arch support's a little bit too high for me. And it can, it's pretty mild. Like I've run 2 marathons in them, and my feet have been fine at the end, but it does get a little bit sore. Yeah, and they're stable enough for me. So 8 out of 10 Nike Alphafly 2s. So the next shoe I'm going to talk about, but can't actually show you because I took it back to the shop, was the Nike Alphafly 3. So I did buy this shoe brand new. I did a video on it, so go watch that one if you're interested. I felt a bit bad about buying them brand new. They're a lot of money. But yeah, I think you can probably guess where this is going because I don't have them anymore. I took them back and got my money back. I just did not get on well with this shoe. Now, initially, what was fascinating about this shoe is that when you first put it on, it feels incredible. Like, it feels so good. The most comfortable, most amazing feeling shoe I've ever put on. And I think that really got in my head. Like, I put on this shoe and I thought, oh my goodness, this is going to be incredible. And so I had that, and it took me a while to realize that this shoe just actually doesn't work for me at all. I was so in awe of the first time I put them on. So they feel really great when you first put them on. They look fantastic. They're nice and lightweight. But for me, probably the biggest complaint I have is they just weren't fast. They were the slowest shoe out of all the ones I tested for potential race day shoes. They just didn't work for me. They weren't particularly comfortable. I didn't feel like they were helping me a lot, either with efficiency or speed or comfort. They just didn't work. I didn't like them. They were noisy. Yep, so I took them back. Your mileage may vary, quite literally. And, it's part of me wonders, because I did, I think, 11 Ks in them before I took them back. So maybe they needed to be broken in a bit more, but I kind of felt like I'd seen enough. They just weren't working for me. So the Nike Alphafly 3, for me, only a 5 out of 10. Didn't like them. So the final carbon-plated racing shoe I have for you is the Nike Vaporfly 3. So I included this one. I didn't really use this much in the training block. I used it for a 10K race, maybe something else. I tried it out as a potential race day shoe. I don't quite know what to make of this shoe. My opinion changes of it every time I run in it. And I haven't done a whole lot of running. And this one I did buy brand new. It was in a sale though, but it was still a lot of money. So I tend to kind of just save this for races, and I haven't decided if I like this or not yet. And that's because my experience kind of changes every time I put them on. So what I like about them, they're nice and lightweight. They're comfortable enough. They're a bit too narrow for me, and they're quite unstable. I personally don't find that much of an issue. I haven't raced any like really, what's the word, bendy courses with lots of turns in. So that hasn't been a big problem for me. But yeah, they just really vary with how they feel. Sometimes they feel fast and really aggressive, and they feel like, yes, I'm wearing a super shoe. And other times I'm just like, I don't know. The numbers are kind of, they're average. Yes, I think they help my speed a little bit, but it's certainly nothing drastic. Yeah, so I think the jury is still out on this one for me. I really like the upper. It's nice and breathable. I wish they wouldn't do that with the laces. It's really annoying. It's only annoying because I use Stride foot pods, and anyway. Yep, so for this one, I think I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10, just because I just don't know what to make of it. And I can't really give it any higher than that because, to go higher than that, I think I'd have to say, yes, this is a good shoe, I recommend it. But I just don't know. I like that it's lightweight, and I'll keep doing a few races in them and hopefully form a proper opinion of them soon. So there you go. Those were all the shoes I used during this marathon build. And yeah, it's quite a lot of them when you line them all up. One thing I wasn't prepared for was just how quickly you churn through shoes doing lots of mileage. So I think I started the block doing about 100, 110 Ks a week, and my peak week was 140. So, it's not enormous mileage, but it's quite a lot, and you go through shoes quickly. And so as I said at the start, you don't need this many shoes. It is good if you can, if you've got the money, if you can afford it. It does help to have, well, I think, they say for general foot health, it's good to have a bit of a rotation going, just so you're working different muscles. But also, what's clear is these shoes really are designed for different jobs, and it's nice to have a specific tool for a specific job. But, that's very much optional. That's a luxury. You don't need it. You can just get out there and run. But I'm blessed enough to have these. And again, I wouldn't have most of these if it wasn't for Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, just thought I'd throw that out there. So hope you found this helpful. And also, of course, this is all just for me. Your running style is going to be different. You might have a completely different view on these shoes. Classic example is the Nike Alphafly 3. It seems like everybody is in love with that shoe, but it is my least favorite shoe. So there you go. But hopefully that was helpful anyway. I'll see you next time.